Visuals going away, and now only see me. So I have been on a course this past weekend with a man that I wanted to study with in person for a long time, but because of cost and distance, it's always been challenging. His name is Thomas Myers, and he created a system. I don't even want to call it a system, but it's called Anatomy Trains. It was from a lot of extensive work that he did with other people, but he developed this idea that there are lines of fascial connection and he calls them anatomy trains. He says they're just really a roadmap for how the body moves, and it's moving away from this idea that individual muscles do individual things, and more like there are connections of muscles that go through the whole body, connected through these pockets of fascia. So it's still in my head, and will probably unfold, and you'll get to feel a little bit more of that kind of stuff once I digest some of it. So, but speaking of digesting, I'd like you to just stand up for a moment, and we're going to do this little exercise, just standing up. Set your feet and look down at your feet, and check to see that your feet are, I'm not going to say parallel, but set up in a way that can be as close as you want or far apart as you want. But look down to see that if you were to bend your knees, are your feet in the same alignment as the direction that your knees face? So we're going to start with that, kind of playing a little bit of a balance between the feet and the knees, and go, okay, once I have that, are my toes in line with each other? And I mean, one leg can be turned out a little bit more if it needs to be, but you really want to just check in that you feel balanced in your feet and your knees are pointing in the same direction as the center of the ankle, and then out towards the base of the second toe. And then I'd like you to close your eyes for a moment and just feel the weight of your feet on the ground. So the practice today, since I mentioned digestion, is about digesting, and like my head is full. I said I really need some time to digest, and I think that's what we all need too throughout this whole experience that we're having right now, is time to digest exactly what is going on and how it's affecting us, and see what the outcomes might be in future. So in Ayurveda, the practice of the sister science to yoga means the science of life, and Christina O'Neill, who's on this class today, she's doing an extensive training in it, and I hope to have her here sometime teaching it, because it's so incredible, and I know this much and she knows this much now. And so one of the key principles of Ayurveda is that we need to digest our food, number one, our emotions and our experiences, and we need to take time to do that. So on a physical level today, we're going to work to see how to open up the body, move the body in a way to help the physical digestive system, but also part of it, mirrored with it, or backing it, is this idea that, you know, we're going to experience things, and have been, and how are we going to take in what we're learning and use it to our use. Okay, so with your eyes closed, feeling your feet, just feel how your body is swaying and moving a little bit. And that's okay. You don't have to stand perfectly still. And in fact, if you ever watched a fast forward video of people standing, you'll see they're constantly moving around. So get a sense of where your feet are on the earth. And then come up higher, come all the way up to the space in your head, the center of the head, between your ears. And continue down to the center of the earth. That sounds like a big challenge. How do I know where the center of the earth is? But your body does. 6,000 kilometers away. Just get a sense, a feel that your head is able to line up with the center of the earth. Of course, continue to breathe through this. Notice if you're holding your breath. And then come down to the center of your chest. I'm going to move this. Okay, we'll try that. Thank you. Is that better? Hopefully. And come down into the center of your chest. And find a point there, behind your breastbone, the center of the chest, and align that with the center of the earth, through the place between the center of your ankles, between the feet. And then create some length between the center of the chest and the point between your ears, without lifting the front of the body or lifting the back of the body. Just get a sense that you're able to lengthen between those two places. Breath is a really great tool for this. Cindy, if you could text Dean a thumbs up that it's better, it's not crackling, that would be great. Or whoever said that. And then come down a little bit lower. This is a place below your navel, below your belly button, maybe 1 or 2 inches below your belly button, and about 2 or 3 centimeters back from the front of the body. And center that point through the center of the feet or through the center of the ankle and to the center of the earth. And then create space between that point and the point in the center of the chest. And we're keeping all these parts. We're learning to align the body from a sense of that comes from within. And this is where we digest. And then the final point is the pelvic floor, the perineum. So we're looking for an awareness as best you can. And it's going to be behind your genitals, but in front of your anus. And align that with the place between the center of the ankles and the center of the earth. Then create space from that point up to the place in the belly. And then another awareness, creating space between there and the chest. And the chest and between the ears. So this takes a lot of interoception, turning inward and paying attention. And this is what digestion is asking of us on all levels, emotional, mentally, spiritually, and physically. Turn your attention inward and just notice how tall you feel. Maybe it feels a little bit like you're in a different position standing than what you normally do. And notice if you're feeling rigid here. You will move, you will flow back and forth and sideways. The body's always trying to find balance and stability. And then set your intention here to continue to be aware, turn inward and be aware of the movements, of the experiences, the things you're feeling, and let them be there. Let your systems break them down and give you something that you can use when you're done. It's time, space, and intention. And slowly open your eyes. And just going to hold on to this, I guess. Inhale and lift your arms up. I am getting a new mic headset. And then interlace your fingers here. Turn your palms forward and press the palms up towards the sky. Elbows can be a little bit bent here. And feel how that's changed, possibly changed your alignment. See if you can find that sense again. Where were you standing on your feet that felt different once you lined everything up? Take a couple more breaths here. Again, this is, very rudimentary, talking about the fascial lines, but lifting your hands up will affect your feet. And then exhale and release, bring your arms down. Okay, so now I'd like you to lay on your belly, but I'd like you to lay on a blanket. I've got a blanket folded lengthwise like this. I'm going to lay it down. Just to have a connection to the front of the body before we start moving more. Laying down like this. Face down. You can put your hands down for your forehead, or you can bring your head right down on the floor. Position your arms where they feel most comfortable. I'm going to suggest for women, take your breasts forward of the edge of the blanket so that you're resting on your belly. You can turn your legs out if you like. I just want you to feel a connection here of your belly, your body, to the center of the earth. This is the organs inside. I want you to have a feeling, a sense of yeah, I'm resting on my organs. And let the musculature system of the body kind of drape. Let your body relax and release just for a few more moments here. And with the belly down and the organs supported from the front, we've got space in the back of the body now for the breath. So it's often an area that is a little bit neglected in terms of breath, even though, and this is something Tom Myers says, and I've said a long time ago, you would look at the body from the side, there's 60% lung tissue at the back of the body and 40% at the front. So it's a little bit underutilized at the back of the body. So while you're lying here, just for a few more moments, expand the breath. That means deepen it, lengthen it, take a deep breath, take a long exhale, and allow the breath to go into the back of the body. It might seem really counterintuitive, but I am asking you that, and maybe over time, if you're not having a connection with that now, you might develop that. So the back of the ribs widens. You might get a sense that the low back is lengthening. I'm just sitting here watching Dean's back, and I see how it rises up, it widens, and his low back moves just slightly away. So his pelvis does this little bit of a tip backwards, his tailbone towards his feet. You may or may not be feeling something like that. Relax your shoulders. Bigger breath in, longer breath out. And while you're lying here, just for the next few moments, connect with a sense of what's going on in the front of the body. The compression that you might feel. We're going to do some compression, we're going to do some lengthening, we're going to do some rotation, and rotation the other way. Okay, last big breath here. And then hold the breath in just for a moment, widening through the back and side ribs, just for as long as you're able to without feeling anxiety. And then slowly release it, slowly trying to maintain some of that opening in the back of the body. And then once you're done, come back to a natural breath. And then press down into your hands, start to lift yourself up and head back into a child's pose. So hopefully you've got enough props around that will make your child's pose work for you. If you need something under your knees, put something there. If you have pain in the joint of the knees, put some support behind the thighs here and sit back. You know, I didn't specifically say knees together. You could do feet or knees apart. This is more for a sense of breath and compression through the belly. So, you know, legs closer together is going to give you that support on the body on the legs. It might not be possible for you. So a little bit more compression perhaps, a little bit more flexion in the back of the body. So a little bit more of a sense of lengthening. I'm hoping more evenly from top to bottom. And just 2 more breaths here. And then lift yourself up. I'm going to be moving around a little bit in the class today, up and down and on your back. And so set your hands up for downward dog, which means hands as wide as your shoulders, fingers spread without overspreading them. And just first, line up your shoulders just behind your wrists. Create a rooting action through every fingerprint and the first knuckles of your hand, especially the index finger, knuckle, and the thumb pad, and then your thumb and fingerprint. And then come to a place in the center of your hand, each of your palms, and feel like you are drawing up from the center of the earth. Connect both of those. There'll be a big diagonal lines going from the palms of your hands down to the center of the earth. And feel that energy then coming back, rebounding up from the center of the earth, up through the center of your palms, up through your arms to your shoulders. And then allow your heart to soften here. So the space between your arms, your chest melts down just a little bit, just enough. Like the center of your chest is now being pulled towards the center of the earth. Then tuck your toes under. Push down and forward with your hands so you start to shift back. Start to engage where you felt that toning just below your belly button this morning. Tone there, draw that part back, and then hover your knees off the floor. So now we get into the muscle. You have to hold strong here. And there's kind of a great system in the body that you don't have to think about contracting every single muscle. The body knows how to do that. And then shift back and find downward dog for whatever version you need this morning so that you can move a little bit. Notice in your downward dog what is moving well and what is not moving well. Yeah, do you want to swivel your hips to one side or to the other? You want to bend your knees, alternate bending knees? Do you want to go more of a spiraling, looping through the body? We'll come back to this. Just want you to get a sense in downward dog. I really like it because we take ourselves from upright, which we're used to being partially upside down. And can we tell what's going on? You know, it presents maybe a new set of eyes to see what you're feeling in your body. We walk around all the time on our feet, and we have this sense of what's normal. So honoring what we're feeling is key to being able to digest, meeting yourself right where you're at. Okay, one more breath here. Lengthen out, maybe move your legs towards straight, keeping the spine nice and long, lengthening both the front and the back of the body, lengthening through the organs of the body. Think of pulling all the organs away from each other, and then come back down. And this time, you're going to come over onto your back. Set up your feet, not overly, we're not trying to do this. with heels right at your sit bones. But we're trying to have a sense of ease. They're not too far away. This is not the constructive rest pose right now. But just where you feel you have support to be able to lift your hips up.
Yes, I don't know if you can hear, but lots of practice.
There's a widening through your collarbones, a widening through your collarbone. Get a sense of centering your hips. That lining up. That lining up you've had at the beginning. You get a sense of still lining that up. No? Okay. I have a plan B. Plan B. Always got to have a plan B. Okay, can you hear me now? Yeah? Okay. Let's hope my phone doesn't run out of batteries because that's where I'm at now. Okay, I've unplugged my phone. Should be okay. Okay, let's try this again. Where were we? Lowering back. Feeling the connection, the same alignment that you had when you were standing up. Now, it's not aligning with the center of the earth, you're aligning with the sense of feeling to the body. Then, I'd like you to bring your arms just a little bit closer, bend at your elbows and put your fingers up towards the ceiling. Press down into the backs of the shoulders. And then start to roll your pelvis so that you're rolling towards the top of your waistline, your top of your sacrum, and then roll back again. Just a little movement through the low back, coming from an awareness and leverage from your feet. So rolling forward and back. Massaging along the back of the pelvis, going all the way up to where the low back starts to drop into the floor, and then go the opposite way where the low back moves away from the floor. Again, tuning into a sense of how much movement do I have here? What does it feel like when I do this? This is rocking the boat of the pelvis, which, if you think about, if you have, well, an ocean is a large example, but I'm even thinking of when my kids were little and they'd be in the bathtub. And they'd push the water back and forth between each other. And so there's this sloshing about, you know, we are water-filled beings. So imagine that as you're rocking this, you're having fluid moving and shifting from the top to the bottom of the body. And we need fluid in order to digest, for sure, on a physical level. And when we feed the food body, that's the physical body, we are able to tune in to a higher sense of knowing. It's like the hierarchy of needs. So you need to have food and air and food and water. Okay, then come back to a place of stillness, and then let's slowly together start to roll back until the low back flattens into the floor. You can press into your upper arms now and start to peel the pelvis off the floor. Then the lowest lumbar spine, then a little bit higher. So we're just doing this slow motion wave. Take as many breaths as you need to. I'd like this to be so slow that you don't miss a place along the back of the body. And for sure, you're able to tune into an engagement in your core muscles. And it's a little bit challenging to to get all the places along the back of the body. Now, we're all built differently, we're all different patterns, and as I really learned about on the weekend, and it might be different places along the back of the body. So I'm not sure where you're at. I'm just getting to just about between my shoulder blades, the bottom tips. Still lifting, still breathing. Now I'm rolling more towards the center of my shoulder blades. The tops of the shoulder blades, I'm going to readjust a little bit to have more support to the back of my shoulders. The back of my shoulders go down, and then I don't want to press my cervical spine, my neck into the floor, but I want to press into the back of my head. And just for a moment, feel that lengthening through the front of the body. I know we often focus on, the muscles that are engaging through the back of the body, which is awesome. But now feel how you're lengthening through the front of the body. So from your shoulders that are anchored, root those down and lengthen out through your knees. Get a little bit of a sense of lining those points up again, not the head particularly because it's only alignment. But we want to get a sense that you're lengthening. So reach your knees towards the wall or the window in front of you. I say window because that's what I have. Well, I have a yoga rack. We're not trying to lift or contract any part of the back of the body more than another part. We're trying to create more of a sense of lengthening. So when the skin moves, all these layers of fascia, when the skin moves, we can affect what's moving underneath it too. The organs start to lengthen away from each other. We're talking like little bits. It's so compacted in there. But whatever space we can get, let's take it. And then we've been holding here for a long time, so you're probably sensing fatigue in some of your muscles. So let's slowly roll back down. Take the same kind of care, moving the same pace through the back of the body. And I like to close my eyes when I'm doing that kind of work because I can really tune in a little bit better than if my eyes are open staring up at the ceiling. But you've got to do what works for you. Through the back of the body. We're engaged through the back of the body. And we're lengthening. Kind of like I'm picturing like a steamroller rolling along, lengthening as much as you can through the back of the body. For me, because I have more of a curve in my lumbar, it takes me a lot more time and effort to try to get every part. Sometimes I have to lift my heels up. A lot of core work for me there. And then the back of the pelvis. And then we go back to neutral. And then take a breath or two. And if you did that really quickly, try it again another time and don't do it so quickly and see. Like right now, I feel like, oh, my whole body has worked. So then we're going to go again, but a little bit faster. So this time, inhale and start to curl and lift the hips up. By the time you finish your inhale, you press into the backs of the arms, you will have your lifted position. And exhale here. Then inhale again. Exhale again. And this time hold the exhale out. So don't breathe in or out, but at the end of your exhale, start to roll down through the spine, taking as much time as what you need compared to the amount of time you can hold your breath out. What you're doing here is creating something called Uddiyana. You're drawing the core muscles in towards the organs. So a little bit of that compression. Once you come back, you're going to inhale with the spine neutral. And then exhale for a rest for the heart, for the body. And then we start again. So I'm going to add to it. This time, curling, rolling up as on the inhale. All the way back to the tops of the shoulders, back the head. You did it slow so you could really know first. Then exhale at the top. And then roll down, keeping the exhale out. slowly. Take your time, but also be aware of what you need for your breath. Once you've landed neutral in the spine, inhale, exhale. Do 2 more times on your own. And notice as you're doing this, particularly as you're rolling down, notice what's happening in your abdomen. Notice how you're drawing your organs back into the body. And then once we go back to neutral, with that sense of space, we create more length and space. Finish your last one. Then once you've done that, take your blanket that you had, the long blanket, I'm going to fold it over once so that it's a little bit higher, and lift up your pelvis and rest it on the blanket. And just have a little bit more height. I know it's challenging if you don't have the really great yoga blankets, and I do have some here for sale that I got for training for May that's not going to run until September. So if you're nearby and want to buy them, I'm happy to deliver. But maybe you have something that you can fold and compress enough. Towels work great as well. So now we have the hips elevated, the back ribs are off the floor, but I don't want you to feel like you're compressing in your low back. So an action similar to what we were just doing, but I didn't describe it, because your front ribs here move into your body, so pull them in and down towards your front hips. So again, if you do that too much, you might get a sense of jamming. So we want to do just the right amount. And then remember how you were lying on your belly and you were breathing into your back ribs. I'd like you to bring that into your experience now to help lengthen through your low back, and then stretch your legs out. And your legs are going to be like you're standing on them. Press out through the soles of the feet. Inner thighs roll towards each other to get to a place where your knees face up. And just for a moment while you're lying here, lift your head up and look down through the body. You can't see your feet probably, but look down and see, is what you're seeing symmetrical? And then lay your head back down so you're right in line with your spine. So this is an action of lengthening through the front body. We're now going to take the arms by the sides, lift them up towards the ceiling. And again, you may need to widen your arms a little bit depending on what's going on your shoulders. We don't want to disturb anything we've done here, from the rib cage down to the feet. Start to take your arms overhead. Getting a sense that there's something in you that is lengthening through the center of the body. But you're not disturbing the physical structure. You're not changing the angle of the rib cage. You're lifting everything else in the center, just like we experienced this morning standing in Tadasana. So you might go wider, but you're reaching your feet in one direction and your hands in the other. Just the right amount, so that you are feeling a lengthening through the front of the body, like opening up the space around the organs, but also not feeling like you're shortening the back of the body in compensation. There's still a feeling of length through the back of the body. And when you breathe, take your breath just a little bit longer for 3 more breaths, and get your ribs again to widen out to the sides and your belly to drop in. So there's a lengthening through the belly and a widening and a dropping. And remember that feeling of space in your belly. Bring your arms back down. Bend your knees. Take the blanket out from underneath you. And now curl your legs in towards your body. If you're feeling like this is really something I need, this release, you might have been not creating the actions. So it's always a little bit of check in afterwards to learn. You know, just like when we eat food and we have a sense of bloating or not being able to digest something afterwards, you go, oh, that food caused that, or that combination, or eating at that time of day or that time of year. So we learn as we go, just like we are with technology. And then keep your right leg in, stretch your left leg out, a little bit of wind expelling, the wind expeller pose. Terrible name, but it says what it does. And then inhale, stretch your arms away, stretch your leg back down. I'm going to suggest that on an exhale, you bring your left leg in. If it feels like you want to do an inhale instead, that's okay. Just explore a little bit. When you're finished with that, leg goes back, arms go overhead. And as often happens in class, get some really creative variations of this. You can even add in, since we're doing this alternating compression and expansion, as your leg comes in, whichever side it is, you can also curl up and have a little bit more dropping of the belly down into the body. This is also giving us some warm up through the hips and the shoulders, the four corners of the body. In this one plane. Okay, one last thing I'm going to have us do here. Finish on whichever leg you want. Then stretch out again. Bend both legs. Bring your feet to the floor. Take your arms out to the side, straight up from your body, and lift your legs up. So you can do this. Sometimes I do this like this with a blanket. It just helps to keep your legs a little bit honest, and you're having an awareness of how you're moving. So I put the blanket right along the length. So now I have something you have to hold on to. Legs are almost vertical, your thighs, not too far in and not too far away. So I don't want to feel my low back flattening. And I don't want to feel a lot of gripping in my hip flexors and lifting away in my low back. So I'm going to find a place just in between. Doesn't mean that it won't be challenging. It will be. And then you hug your legs in towards the blanket, keeping your feet parallel, and start to rock your legs and body, your hips over to one side, and then back to the center. So we're going to go slow. I want you to really feel what's happening. Now as we start to revolve the abdomen, and that's what this pose is called, Tadasana, revolved abdomen pose. We're keeping the upper body steady. We're starting to move around. Think of moving around the organs. The organs are here, and we're twisting the outer layers of fascia. And fascia, a great way to think about fascia is like pockets. Membranous pockets. So if you think about like an orange or a grapefruit and how there are sections in the grapefruit. But within those sections there are little pockets that hold juice. And that is what fascia is to the whole body. And everything has an ability to slide across each other and pull against each other. So I'm not asking you to get anywhere in particular with this, just to feel the muscles that you're using and to feel your abdomen turning. As your legs go one way, you go far enough, your belly starts to rotate to the opposite way to counterbalance and to hold you from dropping all the way over to the side. So just one or two more on each side. And then come back into the center. Bring your legs back down. We'll stretch out one more time. That's the last thing we're going to do here, and then we'll come up. So stretch out without the blanket underneath you. Arms up and out, they can be in a V. Legs side by side. Tadasana. So we did Tadasana. Get a sense between your ears, heart center, just below your navel inside, and pelvic floor. Return to a place where there is space. Let the body settle and rest. Rest is key to digestion. Restorative yoga is called that, rest and restore, because it's so much about the digestive system, so much about the nervous system, all the systems of the body. And then lift up your arms, bring them down, bend at your legs, roll to your side. Come to your hands and knees. And now I see my back flashing. Bear with me. Good thing I'm getting a new system that doesn't require AA batteries. Okay, so in your hand, on your hands and knees, a little bit of cat-cow, just move, cat-cow, any kind of movement that's your body's calling you to do. If you haven't figured out by now, if you're new to me, I don't think you're new to me. This is not workout yoga. I like to say it's a yoga of moving inward and connecting with the intelligence of the body, the intelligence of all the organs of the mind, the heart. You know, we can't, I don't think we can be looking at my muscles separate from anything else. Everything's tied up with everybody, everything. Everything has a connection. Okay, then from here, however you want to get there, if you want to go through downward dog first because it's a little bit easier for you or feel more fluid, take your left foot forward. If you have blocks, this would be a great place for them to come in. Just because blocks help to elevate you a little bit more so that you can be in a lunge position and be more neutral. Again, find those places within the body. I'm going to tuck my back toes under, just to give me a little bit of leverage. You can have a blanket under your knee. This is the one position. The second position is moving back. There is no place you have to be, but you pivot on your heel like this, and you start to create length in not just the back of the leg, but imagine that you're drawing in from the center of the heel to the center of the leg, right back to the back of the toes on the left side. At the same time that you're pulling in, you're also going to be pushing out. So you're creating, think of the outer line drawing out, the outer area of the body, of the leg moving outward, and the bones moving in. You can do it the other way around too. And then we're going to go back and forth between the two. So knee does not have to straighten here. It's starting to move a little bit. This leg is doing that. This leg is doing something else. We're starting to open up a little bit more through the front of the hip. Particular, you know, that last pose we did, the revolving abdomen pose, that was a lot of work for your hip flexors. So now we're saying, okay, lengthen back out. And we're not going to hold it just yet. We're just saying, lengthen, and now shorten. And now lengthen, and now shorten. So again, we're always going to be trying to address what the nervous system needs to help you feel safe. Okay, one more time. Come forward, line up your front foot, knee over your ankle. Lift up your right arm. Inhale. Now lean your whole body forward, lifting and lengthening through the front of the belly. You lean forward, press down now. If you don't have a block, maybe your hand to the floor or a chair here, or a stack of books sometimes works really well. Keep that and lift your back knee off the floor. So now your body is resting on your thigh. And you're creating the same kind of length from your back heel all the way out to your fingertips. By resting on your thigh, you're taking some of the work out of the left hip. If it's not possible, put the blanket in here so you have something that you can connect to. Lengthening. Left sit bone may start to travel over to the left, but you're going to have to try to bring it in towards the center and drop it down so sit bone lines up behind your left heel, if that makes any sense. And then come back down. Now climb up onto your thigh. Slide your left hand like this along the top of your thigh with your thumb down and your fingers go forward so you can see on the other side. So we're doing this pull back and roll down. I'm helping to drop my outer hip down here. Then lift up your right arm. That left hand is really doing a lot of work, keeping that sit bone in place. Now do the same thing, lean forward. Then start to turn your abdomen. Let the upper body follow. So a lot of the times in these types of poses, we'll turn the head first. Turn your abdomen like you did in the abdomen revolving pose. Let the rest of the body follow. Until you're starting to bring the whole right side of the body towards the inner left thigh. Then hook your elbow over. We're going to keep the elbow up like this. We're not going to take it down. But we are going to press into the leg, so the leg starts to come in towards the center. This hand is trying to stabilize it so it doesn't go in from the hip. And then you press, so the arm pushes in, the leg is pressing out. And use that to now lift and turn a little bit more. Last week we focused on turning the body away from the bottom arm. And then come back down. Whoa, that was a lot of work. Come into downward dog or half downward dog. If you feel like that's a more appropriate pose for you. Someplace that lengthens you. You know, we did some compression now and a rotation. Now we're lengthening back out again. So full or half downward dog. Again, being really aware of how you're setting your hands up. I'm not going to say all the same instructions every single time, but that doesn't mean I don't want you to do them. Still feel that connection, that lift to the center of the palm if you're in full dog, even if you're in half dog. Back into symmetry. Does it feel like you're longer on the inside and the organs on the left and the right side? Digesting this experience, taking it in, feeling it, processing it, let your body process, let your mind and your heart, thinking, what do I get from this? What don't I get from it? And come back down. So now second side, right foot forward, however you want to get there. Right, that was crackly. Okay, and we start again. We get a sense. What height do I need to be on here? You know, maybe have two chairs on each side of you. We're all figuring this out together, so you can go, what around my house do I have that I can use like props? I did a little video of taping together 4 VHS videotapes with duct tape. That works really well. It's just a little bit shy of the height of a block. And then go back into this position, whatever that means for you. We're feeling the resistance through the muscular part of the leg, the hamstrings and maybe the buttocks and the low back. But I want you to get a sense of what's happening deeper inside. And then go back and forth between the two. Again, back of the leg here, but front of the hip on this side. Teasing the body into creating space. Creating more fascia. So the neat thing about fascia is the more it gets stressed, the more it gets pulled on, the more it makes. And the more you have, the more slippery and slidey things are. But if something has been stuck for a long time, it's going to take a long time to get it unstuck. Because everything around it will move except for the stuck place. So it could be up to 2 years, more, less. So just because you don't see results quickly doesn't mean something's not happening. And that's something to have in your field of awareness in terms of experience. Sometimes sometimes things just take longer than you want them to. Change of expectation. Okay, last time, come forward and hold. So this first one, we stayed down, we lifted, you know, you could be here, I guess, too. We lift the left arm up. Feel the connection to the whole front of the body. We don't want to compromise the back of the body. We want to feel like we are lengthening. So we lift up the belly away from the right thigh, and then we lean forward. Lifting up and lengthening so that the body can rest on your thigh. Knee over your ankle, and then the back knee off the floor. And we create this length. This is kind of what we do in side angle. I'm just going to show you. I don't want you to go into it. But side angle, we keep this alignment. We turn. It's the same thing. But I'm focusing on turning the other way today for a specific reason. Okay, one more breath here. Sit both in and down. Then come back down. Now come back up. Bring your hands to your top thigh. The right hand comes back. A little lobster claw. I don't know if it's like a lobster claw. I guess. Right thumb down, fingers pointing down. So we pull back and roll down. Now left arm up. Just because I'm lifting a little bit more on the left side doesn't mean I don't want the whole body to lift. So remember that alignment between the ears, center of the chest, just below your belly button, pelvic floor. Bring those into alignment right here, if you can, with the center of the earth. Now lift and lengthen, go forward. Right hand is really working, right arm is really working. Now start to turn your abdomen. Your body goes with it, your head doesn't bleed. Body goes with it until you can bring your arm down and hook. Then use your arm to pull your leg inward. Use your leg to push your arm outward. Find the balance here and use the combination of both arms and your leg to lift and turn a little bit more. Left chest moves away from left arm. And release. Okay, back into downward dog to checkpoint. You know, lots of other stuff is happening. Downward dog or half downward dog or even child's pose. Just find a place where you can check in. Oh my goodness. It's 10:24 already. Okay, nothing like getting right to what we need to do. Okay, I'm going to take another pose from downward dog or half downward dog, and then you come forward with the right foot and come up into a pose called partial Tadasana. Set your back foot and come. We'll set the feet first. Set your back foot so that your whole foot is on the floor. So you're going to have to figure out the distance. The whole foot needs to stay on the floor, and the pelvis is almost facing completely forward. Pretty close. It's probably the closest you're going to get unless you lift your heel off the floor. So we want to have that root through the back heel. Then push into your right big toe base, and same idea as what with the lobster claw. We pull the right hip back. If the right big toe starts to come off the floor, I don't know if you can see it like that, I'm exaggerating a bit, press that down because we're pulling those 2 points away from each other. Then you come forward, keep pulling back here. If you have to bend your knee, bend your knee. I'm looking for you to get a little bit longer through the back of the right leg. So taking what we did on this position and going a little bit further with it. So stay as high as you need to. Maybe you have a chair in front of you. Maybe you have the back of the chair in front of you. Ideally, I'd love for your leg to be straight. So wherever you can get a straight leg without compromising the spine, this would be compromising the spine. So the spine is still, the body's still in that beautiful long alignment. Big toe base of the right foot goes down, outer right foot comes back. Lengthen through the front of the body without compromising the back of the body. Nice to see Dean took a chair and he's putting his hands on the back of it. He knows, he's learned a lot about himself over the years. He's not doing it just to please me. And then come down. He knows his limits. Okay, change sides. Tadasana. Might be different positioning. Left big toe base now, outer left hip pulls back. We create this resistance by pushing into the floor towards the center of the earth and pulling back up away from it. That starts to give us the ability to tip forward with stability through the legs, through the pelvis, without turning the pelvis, without turning the body. So we want to come forward, keeping the abdomen moving towards the front, moving the rib cage towards the front. So this is slow little rotation through the spine, perhaps a little tiny bit, as you come to where you need to be in the pose. We maintain those actions, but never in a gripping kind of a way, in a way that maintains stability, but also allows you to breathe. If you're not allowing the prana, the breath, to come in, we're missing a big part of the ability to digest. Prana will give you the stuff you need. Prana is life energy to contemplate, to choose what's best for you, to reflect. Okay, and then slowly come back up. We're getting there. You gotta get there fast. So now take your blanket. I'm going to suggest you go higher. If you've got a block looks great. I'm just going to show the blanket, and I've got another blanket here. Actually, no, let me just change that for a moment. I'm going to do the blanket this way to start. And it can be higher. I'm going to have you put your heels on it. If you need it higher, how will you know you need it higher? Well, I'll show you what you're doing, and then you can decide if you need it higher. Heels go up. You're just a little bit wider than hip distance, and maybe a little bit of a turn out of the feet. Again, when you turn them out, we want to make sure we're turning them out in the same direction, so that when you bend your knees, which is what we're doing, and going down into malasana or squat, that they go center of the ankle, out towards the base of the second toe. So here we go. Go higher if you need to. If it's a problem for your knees, you can always, this is a great option too, take another blanket behind your knees and sit back onto it. You can also, all the options today. Sit with your feet elevated. You want to chair with your feet elevated. The idea is that I want you to be able to find length in the spine and deeper hip flexion. So in this position, if this is where you are in the chair, you might start to come forward to create the same kind of shape that you would for malasana or squat. Yeah. So if you're compromising the spine, you're kind of not really doing what you hope to be doing. You know, the ego has to kind of step aside with some of these things and go, do I need to do something more modified? It doesn't make you less of a person to do something modified. It makes you be more in connection with what you need. Okay, so now, heels drop down, tailbone, sit bones drop down. Move your arms forward. We want to create some space from the pubic bones, the pubic symphysis, up to the top of the sternum, the top of the breastbone. So get that sense again of lining up the head between the ears. center of the chest, belly, below the navel, and pelvic floor. So in a complete vertical alignment with the center of the earth, a little bit more of a diagonal line to the center of the earth. So we lift without compromising, without using the upper traps. Yeah, it's going to be work here. Organs lift. Back body breathes. Come back to what we did at the very beginning. Back body open for breath. You need to come out, but if you can stay for another couple of breaths, stay here. Balancing how much work this is with how much you can breathe. Maybe adjusting the props so that it serves you in the highest. And then exhale. Hands can come down, lift the hips up, climb back up. Feels good to open up through the front of the hips. Let's do a lengthening through the front of the body again, a standing back bend. So set your feet the same way you did at the very beginning. I have one more big pose to do. This is where I'm taking you today. Lift your arms up. Okay, find the alignment again. Close your eyes just for a second between your ears to the center of the earth. Won't do it as slowly, but get a sense of aligning your head. Center of your chest behind your breastbone. Create space between the chest and the head. Just below your belly button, 2 or 3 inches below and 2 or 3 centimeters back. Align that to the center of the earth. And then create space between there and your chest. Let it come from inside. Then down to the pelvic floor, behind the genitals, in front of the anus. The place between your heels, between your ankles, and the center of the earth. And create space here between the pelvic floor and your navel, your chest, your head. Now keep that steady. Keep lifting. Be like a rainbow, lifting up from your feet. The whole body starts to lift and arc up and back. But we slowly bring the awareness not just into that straight line through the body, but in through the whole body, through the center of the organs lifting, moving away from each other. Creating space. We don't want to compromise the back of the body. We want to keep lifting, but we want to slowly lift and arc backwards. Head stays in line with the spine. Notice if there's any place in your body that is gripping and holding. Find the opposite action to soften, and then come back. Now we go back down, sit down. This is the final pose. So this is where I'm going to invite you to take your 2 blankets, one to fold this way. You can always sit on a block as well. A block will give you lots of good height, but I'll show you with the blankets. You'll need your second blanket, most likely. If you don't have one, go look around what you have. You have a cushion in your couch or something. I'll show you how you're using it. I'm going to roll it up, and it's going to go under my left leg. So I want to sit high enough so that, I'll show you from the side, so that when I sit, I'm not rolling back this way. I want to have that sense that I can lift up and I'm not sitting on the flesh of my buttock, but I'm lifting up onto my sit bones. So left leg is out. You can move your right leg forward as far as you need to help you do that. You can also lean back a little bit more, because that starts to open up the angle between the leg that's out straight and the body. So maybe I will do it sideways, like this. You can see, so the left leg is out. The right leg I'm going to tuck my right foot underneath the blanket. If you need it to be further out, go further out. Don't worry about it as the prop. You can also slide over here the other way. So wherever you need it to be so that you can still maintain that. Maybe your arms are still behind you. Now the left leg reaches out and the blanket's underneath me so you're not pressing down. I don't want you to use the blanket and press into it. I'd like you to almost feel like you can lift your leg away from the blanket on that side. Now with your left hand or your right hand still back, lift your left arm up. We did this before. So to lift up and turn your abdomen towards the right. Abdomen towards the right. Same as what we did in the lunge. You're going to turn, let your head follow, and then hook your elbow. Press your elbow or your upper arm into your leg so it's going to come towards the center. And temporarily let it do that. Use your other hand to get in here and lift your belly up and pull it to the right. Then press your leg back into your arm to bring it here. Keep lifting, so you may have to go further back. You may have to have your hand up on a chair. We want to keep the spine lifting and the left leg active and start to turn. Turn your belly, turn your chest. Move your chest, the left chest away from the left shoulder. Good. Turn your head finally. I like having the chair behind me here. We won't go into binding today unless you want to, and binding asks a lot more of you. My hands are wrapped and hooked behind me. It asks a lot more for you to lift and turn. Breath becomes a little more compromised. So is that a good thing? I don't know. Breath is compromised. I'm not getting the prana in. This is also an option here. And then slowly come back out. Okay. In between sides, we're going to go into Upavishta Konasana. We're going to go this way. You have your strap on your body. We're almost done. Honestly, that's probably the next to the technology. Keeping a class to an hour, it's the hardest. Okay, so I'm wide, I'm wider than my mat, and I got some slidability on the floor, the carpet. Don't get a rug burn, hopefully you're going slow enough. And I've got the strap around the heels. I'll look after somebody. Okay, then we'll use that as leverage to lift up through the front of the body, start to slide your heels away. So we go into symmetry. If your body starts to roll back, that's where you stop. If you keep going and your legs move towards straight, you're really going to be aware, just like we were with the blanket, of lifting the back of the knee away from the floor rather than pushing it into the floor. If you are more open, you can hold on to the outer edges of your feet. Press out. We've got the strap here so you can press your heels out into left and right sides. You may be quite a bit higher, you may have your legs a little bit more bent. It's for symmetry and lengthening through the front and the back of the body. Okay, one more breath here. Then come back up. And second side. I'll do the second side from this way so we can see what it looks like from the back. Blanket comes in. It is the right leg, is it? Yeah. Right leg out. Goodness, I have somebody in the studio audience to keep me honest with left and right. Position your left foot. Maybe you realize, okay, it needs to be further out. Lean back. So take your left hand back. Open up the space here. Lift your right arm up. Front and back body lengthen. Organs lift. Then start to turn your abdomen. It's so hard to not do this from your head. Turn your belly. Turn your lower ribs. Reach forward and bring your arm to the outside. Then you can kind of play with, can I lift up a little bit higher? Can I walk my left hand back in? Use your arm to draw your leg across the body. Use your left hand to pull your belly back and towards the left. Then right leg long and strong, lift up, spine lifts up, and then you rotate. Shoulders, or rib cage, shoulders, and then head. Press your leg back into your arm. Create stability through the low back. We twist above the lumbar. Lift up and rotate. So the practice of rotating is not like get to a pose, the end pose, and just stay there. It's a pose and repose. So you're using the breath to lift. Every time the breath comes around, can I lift a little bit more? Can I sink? Can I balance the actions that I'm doing? On an exhale, can I go back down to the base and rotate a little more? Can I squeeze more out of this movement in a way that serves me, not takes away from my breath? And use your right leg strong and straight as an anchor. Reaching out, almost like you want to try to touch the wall in front of you. Stay for a few more breaths if it feels like it's good for you. You're benefiting. If not, when you're ready, bring your head back, bring your body back. And then we'll put the props aside. We are going to move into Shavasana, but I'm going to do that. Let's do Upavishta again, lying down with your strap. So Supta Upavishta is lying down on your back, wide ankle pose. It goes around the same place, around the heels, because we want to be able to press out into the heels and engage through the outer hips, the abductor muscles, abductors. Also, when my legs are in the air, I want to be neutral in my spine. So if I lift here, my whole back drops into the floor. I want to either bend or move my legs away, or a combination of both. Then press out through your heels, press your inner thighs away from each other towards your other thighs. Lengthen through the spine. Close your eyes just for another few moments and align your body from within. If we continually have this viewpoint of how to align from the inside, we'll be more aware of what the outside needs to do. And when we have experience through the lenses of the outside, so all of our senses connecting to the world that we live in, we'll be able to learn how to take that information in and digest it. Full circle. Okay, slowly slide them together. We'll keep the right leg in, slowly lower the left leg down. And slowly, meaning really slow, we're going to lengthen the hip flexors as we strengthen them. One more, slowly down. Now it becomes the anchor. Once it lands, pause for a moment and take the strap off the right leg. And do the same here. Now the anchor is down here on the left as you slowly lower your right leg. If you feel there's still a lot of tension in the hip flexors, even after you've done this really slowly, feel free to elevate your pelvis, either with straight legs or like in a bridge pose where it's high enough that the hips open up. We want to be supported, so something underneath you, because we're moving into Shavasana where we want everything to let go. So if there was one more pose that you wanted to do, I'm going to suggest keeping this open rather than doing this and hugging the legs in. If there was one more pose that you wanted to try, well, this would be an option, let's say. Here, and here. This one feels a little good for me right now. Shavasana is calling you. Head right to Shavasana. With an awareness that, yeah, that's going to serve me. An intention that will serve me. Shavasana will serve you any time. I'm going to say all the time. That's probably what a lot of us are doing. Shavasana all day long. But it's a pose that will always serve you. No matter what's going on in your life, no matter how chaotic or whatever is happening on any level, Shavasana informs us, but also gives the body, the mind, a chance to step aside and we sink into a deeper sense of connection with who we really are. What the essence of every cell in the body starts with. Take some time to align the body. You can lift your head up and check to see if you're aligned with the spine, your head in the center. Make any adjustments. If it feels too uncomfortable once you've made adjustments, then line up to where it's comfortable. We do want the nervous system to respond, not react. Notice if there's any tightening or gripping anywhere in your body, including your buttocks, low back, shoulders, and jaw. Lessen that tension with a little bit of movement. Might not be the same left and right sides. And let that sense connection you have with the vestibular system that senses gravity, let it work in your favor here. Feel that gravitational pull with your physical body. Let it release. Give your body to the earth. In Shavasana, symbolic for dying. And that's what we do when we die. We give the body to the earth, we give the mind away. And the essence of who we are remains. Energy. Those senses turn inward. Being open to receive glimpses of that essence. Connection with that essence. And that is how you digest life. Hear the sound of my voice. And if you are quite comfortable here and can spare the time, I highly recommend staying in Shavasana. Let your body come out when it needs to. So hear my voice, but don't let it bring you all the way out. If you're ready to move, look to what wants to move in your body. Follow along with the instinct, intuition your body has, the intelligence, and wiggle and stretch and move in any way that serves you. Make your way over to your side. No, battery's going again. I have a better supply of batteries to come. So if you're sitting, bring your hands in front of your heart. Close your eyes. Get a sense of lining your head between your ears, over the center of the earth. Center of the chest. Create space. Below your belly button, center of the body, create space from there, up your chest. Pelvic floor, behind the genitals, in front of the anus. With a string of pearls, lengthening, lifting, feeling the pull of gravity, but lifting away in just the right amount. It brings everything else into alignment for breath, for digestion. Thank your body, thank your organs, thank life itself. Have a great day. Have a wonderful breakfast. Namaste.